You don't need to beg, convince, manipulate, and force people into working with you as a coach. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to enroll more high ticket clients consistently without any of that sleazy, manipulative stuff that most sales coaches teach. And so let's dig in. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jana Nixa. I am the Authentic Sales Coach, and I work with coaches, consultants, and service based entrepreneurs, help them create high ticket offers that sell and teach them a simple sales process to enroll more clients systematically, consistently, without all that sleaze, manipulation, and things you think of when you think of sales. So, if we're going to talk about how to have non-sleazy sales conversations and how to enroll clients, I have 3 moves for you today to really help you hone in on this process so that you don't have to feel uncomfortable. And what I see a lot of clients do is they end up holding back, right? They don't want to have the sales conversation. They're sometimes secretly what's the word, like happy that the sales call canceled. And so what they're trying to do is avoid that uncomfortableness that comes with what they think sales is. But what I want you to do right now, just take a deep breath, close your eyes, and wipe the sales slate clean. Because what you think you know about sales and what sales actually is the opposite. Okay. And I know there's been years of people telling you that you have to manipulate and force and convince and don't take no for an answer and always be closing and blah, blah, blah. But that is not true. I've had over 40,000 sales calls and closed millions in sales, and nothing could be further from the truth. Okay. So let's talk about what those 3 moves are to get you closing more clients consistently without all of that crap that you don't want to have to do. So the first one is your high ticket offer itself. So it's really important if you're going to go sell anything, but especially if you're going to go sell something high ticket, that you are fully convicted in what you're selling. You're extremely clear about the transformation that you offer, and you are extremely confident in your ability to deliver those results. And you have put together an incredible offer that you feel convicted about, right? It's like the best kept secret, or like like nothing else that is out there, and that you feel that the person in front of you, it's like a no-brainer or music to their ears, right? Because we don't ever want to push anything on anybody, but we want to make sure that we feel so good about our offer that we just want to shout it from the rooftops. Not because we want to sell something, but because we want people to know that it exists, because we know it's going to transform lives. Okay? So that is the first thing. If you feel unclear about your offer, if you are my daughter, I if you are not sure about whether or not you can deliver on those results, like, I would really, really ask you first to center yourself around the fact that you can, and start really embodying the version of you that knows that this is the case, that knows that they are incredible at what they do, because you are. And sometimes we just slip into that imposter state, and that's just really fear all dressed up. Okay. So breathe, open, soften, and relax, because you started an entire business around the transformation you provide. So I want you to go pro and step into the fact that you are incredible at doing it. And you have an offer that the world is lucky to have. Okay. And so that's step 1. Be really convicted in your offer. Step 2 is, while you're having these sales conversations, remember you're only talking like 20% of the time. You're doing something called active listening. Okay. And how you're doing that is because you're using a question framework to really get to know the client and understand and diagnose their issue. And if that's the case, then the only talking you should be doing is when you're answering the question, or when you're asking the questions, asking the follow-up questions, and then in that short period towards the end where you're presenting your offer. Otherwise, you're listening. What are we doing while we're listening? We're holding, like we're being present, we're focused, but most importantly, we're really understanding their words so that we can speak their language. Okay. So that they see that we empathize with them. They see that you get them where they are, because the more you can show that and validate where they are and that you understand the transformation and where they want to go, the easier it's going to be to sell that offer. Because not only are you going to take the things they shared with you, when you go to present your offer, you're going to speak to them in the language that they used during the course of the call so that they can truly see themselves in that transformation, right? It's not a separate thing. So you're truly marrying their words to your offer. So step 2 is that active listening so that you can speak their language back to them. And you can also do that throughout the call by checking in and saying, like, so you shared with me X, Y, and Z. Did I get that right? Right? You said this. Does that sound right? And you're getting them to see that you're listening by repeating and speaking their language back to them. Okay? So that is step 2. Step 3 is exactly what I was talking about at the beginning of this, the opposite of what most people teach in sales. And that is an anti pressure approach. So, if any of you all ever had the pleasure of having a needy ex girlfriend or boyfriend, and they just want to, like, they're clingy and they're just like unsure of themselves, and like it just feels like a really weird energy, like pick me kind of energy, right? And when you're pushy and aggressive like that, that gives off that same vibe. Like, ugh, like what is this person like? What do they want from me? Kind of energy, right? Which is why I don't understand to this day why sales is still taught as this pushy thing, because nobody likes to be pushed. People don't want to be sold to, but people love to buy. And so it's a matter of holding your own. Remember how we talked about the conviction that you have in your own offer, and really having the energy of buy or don't buy. I'm good either way. Like, I have a gift to give. If you want it, here it is. I know that it's going to be great for you. You look like a great fit for it. I am confident that we can get you exactly where you want to go. Why? Because I've done it before and I know what I'm doing. Here you go. Right? So there's this side of you energetically that's like, I got you. I got this. I know what I'm doing. I have a system. I'll walk you through it step by step. And it's up to you whether or not you're ready to make the change that you want to make. And so when we do it in this way, we empower that person to actually make the decision they want to make and not the decision we're trying to pressure them into in that moment. And the crazy thing is, the more we kind of take a step back and aren't so like needy and aggressive, they lean in. You lean out, they lean in. Because it, again, if we go back to like the unavailable girl or the unavailable guy, right? It was like that chase piece. Like there's something mysterious, and it piques curiosity when somebody kind of like isn't super concerned whether or not you pick them. It's like they have something that you want, right? And this isn't about manipulating or playing energetic games or anything. It's just how we are made. And so if you know you have something that will help them, like there's no need to pressure them. As long as you're super clear about how to walk them through your offer, as long as you know the right questions to ask to really tease out whether or not you can help them and where they are and where they want to go and those pieces, and you present it with that conviction and that confidence, like the rest is up to them in terms of like, how they're going to go about making the decision. Now, the super secret, what is it, sauce in terms of how to really, really do this well is practicing something that I call non attachment. And this one always gets people twisted up because they have so much entangled with whether or not somebody, does the sale or not. And it means a lot. They've made it mean like either I'm not good or I'm good or my offer's not good. Or like there's a lot of stories that get attached to whether or not somebody says yes or no. And we have to learn how to release all of that because at the end of the day, the more attached you are for them to say yes, like the more of that like pressure is going to be felt and the more you're going to feel it internally. And it's going to come across as not so confident, like you're hiding something. And it's going to give people that like weird vibe. And so the next question inevitably is, how do I remain unattached? The best thing you can do is remember that this isn't about you. This is about them. And the biggest hack I can tell you to stay out of attachment, like in your body completely, is to be present. If you're present with them, purely focused on their problem and the transformation that they desire, there's no room for the pressure of the ego around, I got to make this sale or I don't eat or, what is it going to mean? Like all of that is future. But if you're in the now, there's no space for that to come in. So what I would say is as if your mind starts wandering in those moments and you start to feel like you're putting pressure on yourself in that way, is the exact moment you have to bring yourself back to the present, ground center, and focus on them and remind yourself, this is not about you. This is about them making the decision they already desire to make and you coming to the table of full service to others, to them, and not service to self. And when you can show up and carry yourself through the conversation, demonstrating a lot of the principles that I laid out for you here today, the person will say yes. Okay. Now, in the sense that they don't, because of course, let me be clear, people, you're not going to close 100% of your calls. No one does, not the best closer in the world. Why? Because not everything's the right fit. It's not the right fit for you and it's not the right fit for them. But if you can come at it like that, you're going to have a much, much higher chance of not only them agreeing and saying yes, but also being able to walk them through their own resistance. Because when you hear things like, I can't afford it, or you hear things like, let me think about it, or I got to talk to my spouse, typically that is fear of change, fear of it not working, fear of them not being able to do it. That's actually what that is underneath what I like to call smoke screens. Okay. But if you've been throughout this call acting like in that service to self space, like ego-y, pushy, like, what do I need to say to get them to do what I want them to do energy, they're not going to be receptive to you helping them walk through their resistance. However, if you've remained neutral, if you've carried yourself like that neutral advisor that's curious, then you can walk them through that resistance. You can ask questions about, money aside, like how much do you feel like this program is exactly what you want? And then you can say things like, what is this really about? Like, how can I help you? I can see you're conflicted. I know I can, from what you're telling me, there's a part of you that really wants this. There's another part of you that's scared. Like, what's that? What's going on there? Right? But you can only ask those tougher questions and stay in this conversation when you're not thinking about you. Because then the ego comes in and it's all about how can I get this person to do what I want them to do? And they'll know immediately. We've all been on those calls with people where the energy shifts and all of a sudden it went from kind of a cool conversation to like what is happening right now? Like things got weird, right? So you have to learn how to hold your own. You don't have to chase. You don't have to convince, but you do have to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet and help somebody walk through their resistance. Because as a high ticket coach, Who invests and my clients invest in me? Like most of the time, there aren't people around that just want to like hand over thousands and thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases. So we have to be able to really help them through that resistance. And that's really what it's all about. And so keeping that non-attachment, being that neutral advisor, learning how to help them make the decision they already desire to make is the name of the game. So, just to recap, you've got to have an offer that you are just bananas about, right? That you know is exactly what your ideal client wants and is willing to invest in. You got to learn to speak their language. And the best way to do that is through active listening, really taking in what they're saying and then learning how to effectively communicate that back to them. And the anti-pressure approach. It's buy or don't buy. I'm cool either way. And when you combine all of that with the non-attachment that you're going to carry throughout, any person that is ready to make that decision and you can demonstrate it by the offer that you have available for them is going to say yes. So let me know what you think in the comments. Please definitely like, subscribe. If you share this with somebody that you know in the entrepreneurial space that just super struggles with the whole sales thing, it could really change their business. Just being present alone has, for a lot of my clients, significantly increased their close rate. So other than that, definitely check out our description for some of our freebies that we have available right now. And we do have master classes coming up. So just definitely check the links below on that. And thanks so much for stopping by. See you later.